Hello and welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your host, Morgan. So I know my last couple of videos have been a little bit of a downer, but today we're going to be talking about an interesting study that came to me while I was scrolling my Twitter feed. And this study has to do with coyotes. Now, I know that coyotes in some areas are often seen as pests, but they're not really pests. They're these misunderstood omnivorous canids that I think we should all be jazzed about. So let's talk about coyote poop. So before we get into the study, we need to look at how plant seeds can be dispersed, or how they can be spread out in an environment. Now, they can be dispersed by being carried by the wind, or they can be dispersed in the scat or the droppings, poop, whatever, of an animal that ate the fruit that the seeds were in. There are other ways, but these are the ways we're mentioning right now because we're not actually talking about seed dispersal per se. The problem here is once the seeds are dispersed, they can be preyed upon by grainivores, which are little critters that eat seeds and grains and things. So rodents and arthropods like ants. And if they are eaten, those seeds are no longer going to germinate, so they're no longer going to grow. They're no longer going to be recruited into the population. And this is a problem because it can reduce new plant growth and ultimately hurt plant populations, especially in environments that may be struggling a little bit with invasive species and things. So the question of this study is, does the presence of omnivore scat, so coyote scat, coyote poop, we're going to be using scat for the rest of the video, have an effect on the behavior of the grainivores like rodents and arthropods? So is the scat going to protect the seeds, basically? So they have two main hypotheses that they tested. The first one, and we can see kind of both of these hypotheses depicted on this figure that is taken from the study. The study is open access and linked down below if you'd like to go read it. It was fascinating. Hypothesis one is that the dispersal of plant seeds in coyote scat would reduce predation on the dispersed seeds by rodents. So, as we can see in the diagram, that's shown as seeds in coyote scat will have a negative impact on rodents. However, the second hypothesis is that the presence of scat will actually increase arthropod seed dispersal. And again, you can see that indicated with the little blue plus sign here on the arthropod side. And they were specifically looking at ants, I think. So they used two main plant species, Prunus serotina, or black cherry. I'm not going to go back and retry to pronounce the scientific names. I apologize. And Rubus alleganiensis, which is a species of blackberry. And the difference between these two plants is that the black cherry produces a larger seed that are really only attacked by rodents because they are larger, and the blackberry produces small seeds that are attacked by both rodents and arthropods because they are smaller. They are more available for the arthropods to carry off. So what exactly did they do to test their hypotheses? Well, the basic experiment was that they made trays of seeds available to rodents, arthropods, or both. And these trays had either no scat, which was the control tray, and the experimental tray that had the scat present in it. And what exactly did they find? So we can see in this figure here, so these graphs are showing the results of the tray access experiments on both types of seeds. So in the experiment with the larger seeds that were only really available to the rodents, we did see that the presence of coyote scat reduced the rodent predation on those seeds. And you do see a little bit of increase on the arthropod side, but not a whole lot because, again, the big seeds are harder for arthropods to carry off. And then in this experiment using the smaller seeds, we see that the control in the Coyote Scat on the arthropod and rodent access tray is about the same, but in the arthropod only tray, the Coyote Scat actually did increase the predation by arthropods. So their original hypotheses were supported, which is interesting because then they expanded on that a little bit and had a couple more questions to throw into the loop. So does the composition of the scat, so a high fruit, a mixed, or a meat-rich scat, affect the seed removal by arthropod and rodents? So here's another figure that kind of shows the results of that line of experimentation. We're going to be focusing primarily on figure 3A and figure 3D. So first of all here, we see that in the experiment with the different scats, figure 3A, in the small seed only, the mixed and seed-rich scat did actually increase predation. So the arthropods were more attracted to the scat from coyotes that had a mixed or meat-rich diet. However, in figure 3D here, the meat-rich scat had a measurably negative impact on rodent predation of seeds. So scat in the meat-rich diets really made rodents want to avoid those seeds, which is interesting and makes sense because coyotes do prey on rodents. So that made them ask the question of, is it just coyote scat or is it like any omnivore? So they took scat from feral hogs as well and introduced those trays to rodents. And what they saw was that, no, it was specifically the coyote scat having that negative effect on rodents and kind of deterring them from eating the seeds. Why does any of this matter? Why am I jazzed about coyote scat right now? Well, first of all, I'm an ecology nerd and studies like this make me happy, even if they are full of shit. So one of the things here is that it's showing that omnivores like coyotes have more impact on both seed dispersal and eventual success of those seeds than originally thought. One, that the scat can deter one type of seed predator while actually attracting another one, especially depending on the composition of diet, is a huge thing. And also, it will influence the nutrients in the soil around the seeds that are in that scat as well. So it is a big thing. It does open many more lines of question into how does this all fit together, and especially if we're taking it from like a restoration standpoint or any other kind of land management standpoint, how do we ensure the success of these ecosystems that may be having a hard time to establish future generations of plant life when we have things like invasive species and climate change to contend with? We really need to understand all of the points that go along with this, and omnivore scat is just one of those points, especially since these seeds face many more challenges if they haven't germinated yet. And then post-germination, there's a whole other set of challenges that a new plant needs to deal with, but we're not talking about that today. So I just thought this study was kind of cool. I hope that I did it some justice today. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, afternoon, evening, what have you. Leave some comments down below and tell me if you went ahead and read the study, what you think about all of this, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you again for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell if you would like to see more. And if you'd like to follow me on any of my other social medias, the links are down in the description below. Don't forget to check out thereptilegoth.com for all of my articles and blog posts. If you found any value in this video and you would like to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon page. That link is also in the description down below. And a special thanks goes out to my Diamond Dragon patron, Diane V. What you're doing is really helping me fund a dream here. I will see you guys all in the next one.